If you want to get to know 10 strange ceremonies in the world, stay with us until the end of the video. Of course, some ceremonies are accompanied by violent acts, which we refrain from mentioning in detail. Thaipusam is a Hindu event dedicated to the Hindu god Lord Murugan, the youngest son of Lord Shiva and conqueror of evil. He's the god of war and victory and often depicted as a man with multiple faces, riding a blue peacock. Celebrated mainly by Tamils, anyone who seeks favor from Lord Murugan has to participate in the festival and do penance for past sins. Thaipusam falls on the full moon day of the Tamil month of Thai, which is usually in late January or early February. The main celebration of Thaipusam in Malaysia takes place at the Batu Caves near Kuala Lumpur, where a large statue of Lord Murugan stands. Devotees carry milk pots or cavities, burdens, as offerings and walk for several kilometers to reach the caves. Upon arriving at the Batu Caves, devotees climb 272 steps to enter the temple inside the limestone hill. There, they perform rituals and prayers to Lord Murugan and seek his blessings. Thaipusam is a public holiday in several states of Malaysia, and attracts millions of participants and spectators every year. It is a showcase of the rich and diverse culture of the Malaysian Hindu community, as well as a symbol of religious tolerance and harmony. The 3-day-long festival starts inside the Sri Maha Mariamman Temple in Kuala Lumpur's Chinatown, from where a procession travels 11 kilometers to the Batu Caves accompanied by some 50,000 Hindus. The procession finishes at the Sri Subramanya Swami Temple at the caves, where the devotees pray at altars. During 2 days the pilgrims let themselves be ritually cleaned inside the Batu River. In Malaysia the festival is especially important and celebrated by its small Tamil community, who are joined by more than 1 million pilgrims from South India. Thaipusam is also celebrated in South India itself, but not in such an extreme fashion as in Malaysia, which is why according to many Indians the Malaysian version is purer and more religious. Every spring, thousands of tourists flock to Kawasaki, Japan, to celebrate one thing: the penis. Yes, blessed is the male member during Kanamara Matsuri, commonly referred to as the Steel Penis Festival, which is an annual event held on the first Sunday of April. And to not mince words, it looks like Mardi Gras with dongs. This may seem odd to some, considering Japan is a country that is usually associated with decorum and discretion when it comes to one's private life, especially sexuality. However, everyone shows up to the centerpiece of the event, the Mikoshi Parade, which features 3 large erect, but portable, shrines carried through the streets on floats. One is a black iron phallus, one is a wooden willy, and the third is a pink prick. Well, the ancient legend has it that a young woman once fell victim to a jealous demon's curse. The sharp-toothed demon, driven by envy, chose to hide inside her vagina and bit off her husband's penis when she tried to have sex with him. If this is sounding like the inspiration behind the 2007 film Teeth, you're not half wrong. Apparently, the desperate woman sought assistance from a blacksmith who crafted a metal phallus to outwit the demon. As the demon attempted to bite down on the steel schlong, its teeth shattered, forcing it to abandon the woman's body. She lived happily ever after with her husband, who somehow managed to grow his penis back. Quite the feat, you'll agree, and the details are a bit fuzzy for this part of the story. The festival, which held its first edition in 1969, seriously, commemorates this legend, and the Kanayami shrine where the steel phallus resides has become a focal point for couples wishing to pray for fertility and good fortune in their marriage. Sex workers would also frequent the site to pray for protection and to avoid STDs. The event gained in popularity in 2012, when TV star Matsuko Deluxe, an advocate of sex positivity and LGBTQ rights, name-checked the festival. Now, there are roughly 50,000 attendees each year, with the event becoming an important outlet for LGBTQ groups in Japan. During the festival, and much to the delight of tourists and Instagrammers, penile paraphernalia is sold, male genitalia lollipops are sucked on, and all the proceeds are donated to HIV research. The Boryeong Mud Festival is an annual festival which takes place during the summer in Boryeong, a town around 200 kilometers south of Seoul, South Korea. The first mud festival was staged in 1998 and, by 2007, the festival attracted 2.2 million visitors to Boryeong. The mud is taken from the Boryeong mud flats, and trucked to the Daecheon beach area, where it is used as the centerpiece of the mud experience land. The mud is considered rich in minerals and used to manufacture cosmetics. The festival was originally conceived as a marketing vehicle for Boryeong mud cosmetics. Although the festival takes place over a period of around 2 weeks, it is most famous for its final weekend, which is popular with Korea's Western population. The final weekend of the festival is normally on the second weekend in July. In 1997 a range of cosmetics was produced using mud from the Boryeong mud flats. The clothes were said to be full of minerals, bentonites, and germaniums, all of which occur naturally in the mud from the area. In order to promote these cosmetics, the Boryeong Mud Festival was conceived. Through this festival, it was hoped people would learn more about the mud and the cosmetics. For the period of the festival several large attractions are erected in the seafront area of Daecheon. These include a mud pool, mud slides, mud prison and mud skiing competitions. This is a ticketed event and the tickets can be purchased online or at the venue. Colored mud is also produced for body painting. A large stage is erected on the beach, which is used for live music, competitions, and various other visual attractions. A small market runs along the seafront selling cosmetics made using the mud from Boryeong. Various health and beauty clinics offer massages, acupuncture, and other treatments utilizing the medicinal qualities of the mud. The festival is closed with a large firework display. Every year, for one day only, the bucolic surrounds of the Gloucestershire countryside become a hub of shouting, cheering, yelling, broken bones and bruised limbs, all in the name of one of world's strangest traditions, cheese rolling. Laugh all you like, but it's a tradition that has taken over a specific hill in Gloucestershire for some 600 years and is still going strong. So strong, that Netflix even featured the Great Cooper's Hill cheese roll in a series called Home Game, which chronicles extreme traditional sports from around the world. Who wouldn't want to witness an event that sees around 25 men and 25 women launch themselves down an incredibly steep, uneven hillside in pursuit of a wheel of cheese? It's all over in flash, there are gory injuries and it's really quite wonderful. The premise is simple, a wheel of double Gloucester weighing between 3 to 4 kilograms is wrapped in wood and decorated with ribbons, contestants limber up at the top of the hill, the masters of ceremony kick off the event by shouting, 1 to be ready, 2 to be steady, 3 to prepare, at which point the cheese is released, and 4 to be off and the contestants launch themselves down the hill in an attempt to catch the cheese. No one actually catches the cheese though, as it can fly off at speeds of up to 70 miles per hour, so the aim is to cross the line first. He or she who does is crowned champion and of course, gets to keep the cheese. There are catchers stationed at the bottom of the hill to help stop the momentum of the participants before they fling themselves into the fences. The event takes place just once a year, though it has been cancelled for the last years due to the pandemic, over the late May bank holiday and always in the village of Brockworth, on Cooper's Hill, which is a 182-meter long stretch with a terrifying 50% gradient. There is no concrete evidence of when this tradition began, nor why, with evidence in 1826 of it being mentioned in a town crier's speech, earlier mention of it in family documents from the mid-1700s and some saying it dates over 600 years. Originally, it was thought to be a fertility ritual, more recently it was supposedly to maintain grazing rights on the common, now, the main object seems to be the bragging rights for the winner. The idea of a fertility ritual comes from the pagan origins of rolling objects down the hill, The scattering of buns, sweets, and biscuits from the top of a hill is connected to fertility, while others think perhaps the event started when bundles of burning brushwood would have been rolled down the hill to signal the birth of a new year. BBC Gloucester proposed that it could go as far back as the Romans, or even Phoenicians who predate the Roman invasion and occupied parts of southwest England. If you're as captivated by this weird, wacky, wonderful, and wild sport as we are, then the place to be is Brockworth on June 5th, where the cheese will be released for the first time since 2019 and the races will commence. It won't be elegant, it won't be pretty, but it will be thrilling. To make the most of the action, get yourself to the Cheese Rollers pub in Shurdington before and after the big event, to see the participants nipping in for some much needed Dutch courage and the winners celebrating Cotswold style with their cheese wheels on show. Is this event a health and safety nightmare? Yes. Have the authorities tried to shut it down multiple times? Yes. Do the locals always ignore and carry on with an age-old tradition? Absolutely, and it's such an attitude that sticks to, likely broken, fingers up to the rules and carries on at the participants' own peril that should be celebrated, broken bones, and all. Baby Jumping Festival is the most bizarre and a bit scary event that happens annually in Castrillo de Murcia of Spain. Famous as El Colico in Spanish, this festival is in vogue since 1620s. The Baby Jumping Festival is a part of the celebrations for the Catholic festival of Corpus Christi. During the proceedings, numerous newborn babies are placed on the ground in swaddling clothes. After it, grown-up men dressed as devils jump over these infants. Though it sounds quite horrible, Baby Jumping Festival is celebrated in Spain with fervor and spirit. The motive of the festival is to purify the souls of these babies and to protect them from future sins. The event's origins are vague, but the celebration is an example of the mix of traditional Spanish folklore and religion. Spain has always been known for its uncommon customs and festivals, be it bullfighting or throwing tomatoes over each other. Baby Jumping Festival is another to prolong that list of queer celebrations. The Spanish town of Castrillo de Murcia has more to celebrate rather than the bullfighting. The occasion just needs some foam mattresses with a bunch of babies lying on them. It's for the Baby Jumping Festival in Spain. Baby Jumping Festival seems to be an evil tradition by many, but it's far from that. The locals perform this exorcism on infants to ward off the evil and bestow them with good health. Lop Berai, in central Thailand, is already famous for its Khmer temple crowded with monkeys, but every year in November the whole town goes ape when visitors from Thailand and beyond come to watch 2,000 macaques feast on a lavish buffet laid out in their honor during the Monkey Buffet Festival. Long-tailed macaques are the most famous inhabitants of the Thai town of Lop Berai, where hundreds of them roam freely amongst locals and visitors. According to the Thai version of the Hindu epic Ramayana, the deity Lord Rama built the old town of Lop Berai with the help of his friend Lord Hanuman, a deity that looks like a monkey. As most of the town's macaques live in and around the ancient temples, some of Lop Berai's residents consider them as holy animals and descendants of Hanuman. Despite their antics such as biting through utility cables, the monkeys are fed throughout the year by local inhabitants in the belief that it will bring good fortune to Lop Berai and its residents. In order to lend a hand to that elusive good fortune, the first Monkey Buffet Festival was organized in 1989 by a local Thai businessman to attract more tourists to the town. It worked, as the festival with the monkeys' antics has grown into an important attraction for the local population, as well as Thai and international visitors. Activities include dances, live performances and, of course, a lavish monkey tea party where the animals are spoiled with 2 tons of food, including bananas, cucumbers, eggs, sweets and soft drinks. Lop Berai is located some 150 kilometers north of Bangkok, and the buffet and its impressive fruit towers are located near the historical Khmer ruins and the Phra Prang Samya temple. You can go there on a day trip from Bangkok by train or bus, but if you intend to stay overnight during the festival then you better book your accommodation in advance. The festival is held every year on the last Sunday of November, which is the 26th in 2023. Usually there are 4 banquets that day which take place at 4 different times, at 10 a.m., 12 a.m., 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. after an official opening ceremony. In Denmark, if you turn 25 and are unmarried, be ready to get covered in a cloud of cinnamon. You must be wondering if it is some kind of a punishment, right? The answer is no. It is just a long-standing tradition. If you are still single at 25, your family and friends would first splash water on you and will then cover you from head to toe in cinnamon. If you cross 30 and are still single, the level of torture increases. The cinnamon is replaced by pepper. They may also mix it with eggs to help stick the spices better. According to Danes, the tradition dates hundreds of years back to when salesmen selling spices would travel around but in the process would be left single. They would hardly be in one place long enough to find a good partner for themselves. These male salesmen were called pepper dudes, peppersvens, and their female counterparts were called pepper maidens, peppermo. If you thought this was kind of a punishment for being single, you are wrong. It is just a fun custom that friends and family of these people prank them with. Also, there is no judging. In the Danish culture, people don't really judge others who have not settled down by 25. In fact, there is no rush for early marriage among Danes. This you can easily tell from the average age of getting married here. For men, the average age to get married is around 34 years while that for women is 32 years. So, by that standard, many people would end up facing the brunt of this practice. If this custom gives you some negative vibes about the country, do not overthink. Danes are among the happiest people in the world. Zenicans celebrate the arrival of spring in a special way. At daybreak, they gather at the Bosna River to enjoy a breakfast composed exclusively of scrambled eggs. Several hundred eggs are scrambled simultaneously in giant cast iron pans, enough to feed all the festival goers. While the origin of the festival is unknown, the tradition of Čimburijada, which is named after the egg dish, has been passed down through the generations. The tradition begins at dawn, because greeting the new day adds meaning to the celebration. The eggs symbolize new life as promised by the return of warmer weather. Word of Čimburijada has spread and the once a local event now welcomes scrambled egg lovers from all over the world. Like any festival, Čimburijada involves music and sporting events. There are games for adults and children as well as an annual regatta along the Bosna River, the third longest river in Bosnia-Herzegovina. The festival is an important part of local heritage. It helps expatriates understand the people of Bosnia-Herzegovina better and integrate into the region, says Erol Mahmutovic, manager of AGS Sarajevo. India is a land of festivals that are meant to propitiate a deity to attain a specific object, commemorate a historical event, or celebrate the existing interpersonal relationships. Tamil Nadu is a highly cultural destination that treasures its old customs to the root. Every monsoon, the state celebrates Adhipuruka festival to offer tribute to the life-giving and sustaining nature of water. Nature worship is a significant part of this festival, so that every Tamilian family could attain divine grace for its welfare, peace, and prosperity. There are many rituals that form part of Adhipuruka celebrations. Of all the ritualistic practices, the practice of breaking coconut on the devotee's head is quite unusual. Breaking coconuts on the devotee's head is symbolic of breaking free from your past, and surrendering yourself to God. Interestingly, it is a voluntary decision on the part of the devotees, whether or not they want to go through this ordeal, yet, thousands of people line up outside the gates of Mahalakshmi Temple in Karur, Tamil Nadu, to receive the blessings on this Thanksgiving fest. During the ritual, one of the priests holds the head of the devotees who are sitting in a queue awaiting their turn, and another priest breaks open the coconut in a jiffy by smashing it on the skull of the person. Of course, this ritual causes head injuries to the people. While some of them rush to the doctor's clinic to get first aid treatment, which could involve a few stitches, many devotees refrain from taking recourse to medical treatment either out of reverence for the deity, or due to sheer fear from incurring the deity's wrath. However, helpers are deployed in the temple premises to apply turmeric powder or sacred ash called vibhuti on the injury of the people. One of the old tales associated with this temple states that once upon a time, when the devotees prayed to Lord Shiva for his help, the trident-wielding deity refused to turn up. Noting that the coconut has 3 eyes the way Lord Shiva has, they started breaking coconut on their head to please him. Finally, Shiva appeared before the devotees and fulfilled their wish. There is a special museum inside the temple where several coconut-shaped stones are kept on display. It is believed that these stones were unearthed long time back when the local villagers wanted to construct a compound wall around the temple. Although, this practice has drawn flack from several agencies like the State Human Rights Commission for its unreasonable nature, the state authorities still allow its practice considering the fact that it is not completely fatal in nature. La Tomatina is a food fight festival held on the last Wednesday of August each year in the town of Bunal, History, near to Valencia in Spain. Thousands upon thousands of people make their way from all corners of the world to fight in this world's biggest food fight where more than 100 metric tons of overripe tomatoes are thrown in the streets. The tomato fight has been a strong tradition in Bunal since 1944 or 1945. No one is completely certain how this event originated. Possible theories on how the Tomatina began include a local food fight among friends, a juvenile class war, a volley of tomatoes from bystanders at a carnival parade, a practical joke on a bad musician, and the anarchic aftermath of an accidental lorry spillage. Prior to 2013, anywhere from 40,000 to 50,000, reported to be 50,000 in 2012, people crammed into this huge tomato fight, greatly expanding Bunal's normal 9,000-person population. Since 2013, official ticketing has been in place limiting the number of participants to just 20,000 lucky people. At around 12 noon, a number of trucks haul the bounty of tomatoes into the center of the town, Plaza del Pueblo. The tomatoes come from Extremadura, where they are less expensive. Technically, the festival does not begin until one brave soul has climbed to the top of a 2-story high, greased-up wooden pole and reached the coveted ham at the top. In practice, this process takes a long time and the festival starts despite no one reaching the meaty prize. The signal for the beginning of the fight is firing of water cannons, and the chaos begins. Once it begins, the battle is generally every man for himself. After 1 hour the fighting ends. At this point, no more tomatoes can be thrown. The cleaning process involves the use of fire trucks to spray down the streets, with water provided from a Roman aqueduct. The authorities seem more concerned with cleaning the town than cleaning the visitors, so some people find water at the Bunal River to wash themselves, although some kind residents will hose passers-by down. Once the tomato pulp is flushed, the ground is clean due to the acidity of the tomato. La Tomatina in 2024 will be the 28th of August.